35 years ago, the district's most notorious spate of unsolved serial killings began. 6 young girls were abducted, some were raped, all were strangled. The killer was never caught, but he was given a name, the Freeway Phantom.
I pray all the time, I wish that the Freeway Phantom murderer would just come and turn himself into me.
They're always with me. I always think of these young ladies. It's just something that's ingrained in me. It's something that's a part of me.
Someone just did it and got away with it. And maybe they didn't get away with it, is what I'm hoping.
Really, the best pieces of evidence that we have is just the offender's behavior.
James Trainum is a D.C. police cold case detective. He has been investigating the Phantom killings for the last year.
He sees a girl in his neighborhood. He may know her. He may have some kind of connection with her. He's able to talk her into the car, and he's able to hold her for a couple of days. And wow, this is great. This is his fantasy. He's got somebody who he can manipulate, who he can control, and he's where he wants to be. But now he's had her for a few days, and what do? I mean, you can't let her go. So he has to kill her. And he disposes of her body. It's not really hidden, but it's not obvious either.
He's driving down the road. He's looking for a place to pull over. He's maybe driving down, looking down, and suddenly he sees he can't go any further. And so he just stops. He pulls up. He's able to stand here, throw the body over, and he's hoping nobody's going to find him. For the first two, he's trying to hide the bodies.
It was a young girl who was murdered, and her body was left on 295. Unusual, yes, but it wasn't really a pressing matter to the police department.
Romaine Jenkins worked in the homicide squad in the early 1970s. She also spent several years investigating the killings in the 1980s.
There were 2 other detectives and myself. We were assigned to go out and follow up on the case. We were stopped by our commander, who said, "Where are you going?" And we said, "Well, a little girl was murdered in Southeast and we're going to follow up." And he says, "No, you have massive Mayday demonstrations and this is what you'll concentrate on." That kind of diffused the investigations right then and there.
The second victim he kidnaps from the very same neighborhood. Probably the very same, sort of circumstances. She's a victim of opportunity, no witnesses around. He's able to talk her into the car, and he has her. We don't know how long. And then he disposes of her at the same site.
How far was one from the other? About 15 feet apart. In location, so he went to the exact same spot?
Exact same spot. He goes into other neighborhoods where he's either somewhat familiar, that they're along major routes, and he is able to abduct his next victim there. Rather than take her someplace and hide her, he takes her across the line into Prince George's County and leaves her body out in plain view. And what he's trying to do is draw attention away from himself, from the original neighborhood, and also confuse the investigation by getting other jurisdictions involved.
His third killing was significant for another reason as well. Police believe the Phantom was worried that he may have been spotted by the girl's mother, so he forced 10-year-old Brenda Crockett to call home. Her younger sister, Bertha, answered the phone.
My mother had sent my sister to the store. She expected her to go and come right back because the store was just around the corner. My mother was getting a little nervous and she went looking for her. My sister called home. I remember her saying that someone had gotten her, snatched her, and said they were going to put her in a cab and send her home. My sister asked my stepfather, did my mother see me, which led me to think that maybe she was sitting back and she was able to see my mother come and look for her.
There's media, there's attention. He decides that he kind of likes this. He feels empowered. So he gets his next victim and even puts her out even more on display, even more noticeable. Well, at this point, that's when the press picks up on the fact that, hey, we got a problem here. And they dub him the Freeway Phantom. Now he's got a name. He's like Spider-Man.
The Phantom apparently wanted to reach out to authorities. He forced his next victim, 18-year-old Brenda Woodard, to write a note. It was found in her coat pocket.
He knew that if he wrote it, that his handwriting would be recognized. So therefore he had her write it. And at that point she probably realized there was something very wrong here and she didn't have long to live. And so she began to fight. Things went bad at that point. He had to do something, so he stabbed her. And then he dumped her out on the side of the road, as you'll see, in an extremely risky area.
All this area right here is the same. They've widened the road a little bit.
Tranham and Prince George's County Police Sergeant Rick Fulgenetti revisited the Woodard crime scene on a recent evening. Fulgenetti has also doggedly pursued the case in recent years.
That was the intersection, the original intersection, and it's still here. The ironic thing is that it's right next to the bus stop where the victim's mother would go every morning to catch the bus to go home. We do know that that morning that the victim's mom did come down here to the bus stop and was forced to walk around and had no idea what she was looking at, but saw all the commotion in the police cars before she went to the bus stop.
He delayed after Brenda for several months.
Almost a year.
Almost a year. Things just did not go right. He wasn't as all-powerful and all-knowing as he thought.
I think the reason he stopped after Brenda Woodard for a while was because he made a mistake. What that mistake is, I do not know, but Brenda Woodard pushed him to the brink that he strangled her and he stabbed her. That's truly overkill.
The Phantom went quiet for 10 months, until September 1972, when he killed 17-year-old Diane Williams.
He went back to his original stomping grounds, to a neighborhood where he was safe.
My sister and I shared the same bedroom and the same bed, so we were very close growing up here. She would, look at my palms and read my palms and tell me, because I had a broken line in my palm, and she didn't, that she would live a longer life than I did.
We would hear about the girl being found somewhere on a highway or wherever, and she would say, that would never happen to me.
Back then, you could catch the bus at night, and when you think about it, in hindsight, it probably is not the best thing, but I didn't even think, we thought that she was going to get in trouble because she came home, was coming home late.
It was like late morning. We got the paper,
Yeah,
and my sister Debbie started reading the paper about a body being found on 295. When she started reading description of what the person was wearing, we just all knew that it was Diane, and we just all broke down in here. I remember that almost like it was yesterday, and I will never forget that moment.
I think the individual proved a point to himself that he could do something and get away. I know there was a lot of speculation that maybe he left the area, he was incarcerated, maybe he died, but I don't think so. I believe personally that he accomplished what he set out to do, to commit a number of murders and get away with it.
At this point, without a phone call from a witness or the killer himself, police can only speculate about the Phantom's true identity. They know he is not a ghost. He was all too real.
When it all boils down to it, if we had him sitting here right now, he would be some poor, pathetic schmo who had a 2-bit job, didn't date women because he couldn't deal with adult women, and he's just a nothing. He was just a nothing.
But we're not social workers. Patricia and I are in the police department, and I mean, scared. I've come across too many people to be scared of this guy. I mean, now we don't live in fear. Unfortunately, our skin is kind of toughened now because of what we work around every day and everything. So no, that's the last thing I think about is fear.
While I'm still in the police department and I'm counting my days down, it's a little over 500, that I would love for this individual to come forth and, turn himself in. I'll be glad to put the handcuffs on him.